Welcome to the Not Superheroes Gets Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be presents for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing to barbecue is. Hello, I'm Sean Laurie. I hope you guys are doing well today. Man, my voice, I think it's allergies. Allergies is bad out here, y'all. So excuse me if I sound kind of weird a little bit. But man, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Of course, I appreciate the support. And today, guys, I'm actually excited because I got a fellow Clipper fan with me. But he's also a father, a husband, a mentor to many. He helps the youth and things like that. My boy Brandon, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for inviting me on the podcast, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
man. Yeah. So what I like to do before we dive into it, I like to do just a little icebreaker. So
Yeah.
obviously you are a Clipper fan like me. So
Yes.
one, it's a two-part question. One, what got you to be a Clipper fan? And then two, is it required for your boys to be a Clipper fan?
So let me answer two first. Yes. Straight up. You don't wear no other jersey in my household. But but going to question number one though, um, I was a Jordan fan. I was a Bulls fan for the
Mm,
longest, right? Like I
yeah.
think most people were. He retired in '98. I didn't know where to go. But I knew I didn't want to go to the Lakers because all my families were Lakers, and I thought they were just obnoxious. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to be those fans. So just start watching Clippers basketball, and I just like the brand of basketball, even though we haven't been successful, especially in the in the earlier years. We
Yeah.
weren't successful, but I something drew me or connected me to them, right? So
Yeah.
um, I started watching them. I started going to the games. The games were cheap, so I think that's what kept me a Clipper fan because the games were cheap. I would
Yeah.
sit right there on the floor. In the early 2000s, I would sit right
Yeah.
there on the floor. So that was yeah. Yeah,
I
it was
like
cool.
that.
So that's what got me to become a Clipper fan. I've been rocking with them ever since.
Nah, it's funny. It's a similar story with me. I didn't want to be a Laker fan. My brother was a Clipper fan, and I thought Laker fans were just annoying. And I also just wanted to be different. I always prided myself on being different. I'm like, man, nobody's rocking with the Clippers, so I'm gonna rock with him. Plus, I like Darius Miles too. I thought he was dope. So
Right, we right here. You
yeah,
already know.
yeah, I thought he was dope, man. Now, with that being said, man, you are a father of two boys. I guess the first question, man, did you always see yourself becoming a father?
I did, and I thought I would be a father of many.
Mm,
And I only have two, and I thought I would be a younger or start younger, but I started at 35. So,
mm,
so God had a different plan for me. He
yeah.
knew I wasn't ready, and He
Mm,
knew I didn't find my wife then. So I'm glad, I'm glad that things didn't work out in the past and things are where they're at today. So yeah, but I always saw myself as a father. That's what connects me to younger people and the
mm,
people in my community. You know,
yeah.
out here, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Lancaster.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of father figures out here.
Mm,
So, that's what connects me to the youth of today. So I'm always reaching. I'm always trying to, put my hand on, around them. So they know I'm there. So yeah.
that's dope. Nah, I
Mhm.
like that, bro. So like you said, cause you didn't picture being a little bit older, but thank God for it because I'm sure you look in the past like, woo, I dodged a bullet, right? Like thank
Big
goodness for
bullets.
that.
Yeah.
um, so what has it? Cause you like you said you are a little bit older now. What has that experience been like? Because there is some of us men that's waiting to have kids and things like that, but just like the experience for you personally, how has that been just being a little bit older? Obviously, your boys are a little bit younger right now, but just how has that been for you just adjusting?
You know, it's been, I'm not going to say a difficult time. There are difficult moments, but overall, it's been a great journey. Um, Being an older dad has taught me a lot because I'm much more seasoned in life. I don't do the same things that I once did when I was in my 20s, in my early 20s. So I'm a lot more seasoned. I'm very calm. Uh, it's it, it's all about balance
Yeah,
for me. And I talk to my boys like I'm talking to you. Like, and once when I found out my wife was pregnant, this is how I'm talking to them in the womb. Like,
yeah,
this is what we supposed to do. This is how we react to things, and and that helps because I see my sons. Well, the 2 year old anyway. And granted, he's a baby still, or a toddler, if you will. But he understands what I'm saying. Like, son, that's not the way we conduct ourselves, right?
mm,
So I always say it. I always say, even though 2 year olds are gonna do 2 year old things,
of
right?
course.
Like, so yeah. But it's, to me, it's all about just instilling that what you want, those values into them. And for me, I had to create values,
Mm,
right? Not saying my mom and dad, I didn't take anything from my mom and dad, because believe me, they were the best parents that I know,
yeah,
right? But obviously, they didn't. There's some things I didn't want, and I had to
yeah,
recreate, right?
mm,
You know, my father didn't speak as much.
yeah,
He didn't talk as much. My family didn't say "I love you." They didn't
mm,
say none of those things, right? So I knew what I wanted in my family, so I
yeah,
say those things, right?
mm,
I listen to my son when he comes home from school,
yeah,
right? Like, I just sit and listen, talk, and he talk about nothing. But I, I listen and I ask questions, and he don't even answer them. He'll talk about whatever he want to talk about, but and that's fine. And I love you anyway, son. Like, so yeah. Yeah.
I like that, man. So, well, what you made me think of two questions right now. But the first one is, what is one of the, because you said not that it's difficult, but what is some of the challenges of you just being older? Is it one? Because at two, I'm thinking of two. One, the terrible twos, or not even terrible twos. They just, I mean, kids. I feel like they just have a ball of energy up until like dang near preteen, right? But like
Yeah,
they're just a ball of energy. So is it one of those things? Hey dad, let's play, or let's, and you be like, dang, I was playing with this toy for a good like 15 minutes. You still want to play, so like
yeah.
what has been like the challenging part for you, bro?
It's exactly that, though. This is
Mm.
even though I give into it,
Yeah.
but it's that, though. Like, you know, he doesn't care that I had a stressful day. you know, he doesn't care that I'm working with families that can't get their stuff together, right? And I have to try. He doesn't care, right? So that means I have to leave it outside, and I come home, we eat, we play, like, straight like that. Like, if we weren't on this pocket, we'll be in his room playing right now, and that's what we do. So from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to sleep, he's a
Mm.
ball of energy. His teachers stated today, like, I've never seen, like, the kid is just bright, but
Yeah.
that's what we instill in him. Like, he reads, like, and no joke, he reads,
Let's
right? No,
go.
he don't read like you and I, but he
Yeah.
got his books and he reads. He can count, like, he could spell, like, but
That's
all
crazy.
those things, and the teachers are just amazed with him. But he's just so energized, like.
Mm.
He's the first one to wake up at his school. He's telling everybody else it's time to get up. You
Mm.
know, he'll come in our room, jump on our bed. Hey, it's time to get up. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, no, it's not, son. Like, well, he's ready. Like, so, but yeah, that's a challenge because sometimes I don't have the energy as an older father.
Yeah.
As an older father, I don't have the energy like I once did. You know, um, and that's why I'm back in the gym. Like, I got to
Right.
get more energy because I want to be able to you know play with them constantly. So I
I
have
like
to.
that.
I have to.
I like that, man. And I want to uh, uh, just salute you and the missus, and the missus, of course, because at the end of the day, man, he's 2 years old and he's reading, he's counting, he's doing things already. Like y'all over here making the next Albert Einstein over there. You know what I
Got
mean?
to.
So it's a beautiful thing, man. And that goes even though you're tired, even though you're older, even though you're like not that that's an excuse, but it's just like, hey, you're at a different stage than you was at 24. You know what I mean? So like, but the fact that you're still conscious of, you know what, I'm going to still make sure I'm present with him, right? I'm still like, and that goes a long way. You, like you said, talking into the womb, because I believe that's a big thing. I did that with all my kids too. Make sure I talk to them in the womb. Like, it was huge for me. Like, I'm going to talk to you, right? Like I want you to know my voice. I want you to recognize me. I want to instill life into you, right? And so, I just wanted to salute that, bro. And then my other thing I want to ask you was, well, actually, it's a two part. The first part is, I know you said like growing up, obviously they loved you, or they love you still. They love you, and and they was your family was more. I'm assuming more for about action than words. But what is something that you took um, from your father? What is something that you feel like, or a lesson that you have gotten from your father that now you have been able to kind of incorporate into your parenting style?
Right. Um, well, I'm gonna tell you a story first, if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
absolutely.
We grew up on. Well, we grew up in LA, and then uh, part of our childhood, we came out here to Lancaster. We had almost 2 acres of land.
Mm.
So, with that 2 acres of land, you have to maintain it every Saturday, every Sunday. This is during the summer. We picked weeds. We got up at 6 o'clock, picked weeds,
Mm.
watered the trees. My dad said, "Rake the yard." I'm like, "Dad, it's dirt. What do you mean rake the yard?" He said, "I want to see lines in it. I want it pretty."
Mm.
And this is every Saturday.
That's
Every
crazy.
Saturday. Didn't didn't know what that meant. Didn't know what any of that meant
Yeah.
till I got older. And I
Mm.
thank him for that.
Mm.
Hard work. Men get up. Men go to work.
Mm.
Men don't just lay in bed.
Mm.
Be active. Do something.
Mm.
And I think sometimes that's what's missing from society today. A lot of men just don't get up, right?
Mm.
We have to get up. Not
That's a bar.
everybody's not going to have the same type of work, but
Yeah.
get up and do something.
Yeah.
So that's what that's what he taught me, and that's what I hope my boys see because dad goes to work, dad is present, he gets up on the weekends, he
Mm.
do things. I remember a coworker asked me like, "What are you doing on the weekend?" I was like, "Well, I'm about to go. I'm gonna get my son. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna take my son to go get the car wash and the oil change, and then we're gonna go to the park." He don't want to go to no oil change or no car wash. I said, "Why?" His dad do, and whatever his dad do, he has to do.
Mm.
And as a man, like I mean, some people might say, "Why don't you just go change the oil yourself?" Well, I'm all about I could do it, but if I could save the time, right? But
Yeah.
still, men have to go out. Like
Yes.
we have to take care of those things.
Yes.
And I'm showing him that. So he
Mm.
comes with me. He don't probably understand it, but he
Yeah.
comes with me to do those things
Yeah.
because that's what I expect of him. So
Mm.
those are the things that I'm teaching him right now.
Mm. I like that, bro. You man, that alone is a gem. You know what I mean? A lot of bars right there, bro. That I love for sure. Now I want to ask you too, just more so now, because you say you had your sons a little bit older and things like that. Did your parents or did your dad have you older as well, or were you just like the first one to kind of wait, quote unquote, a little bit? Not that you old, but you know that you
Right,
were.
right. No, I'm old, but I feel it. But no, my dad had me at a at an older age. I'm not too sure. I can't do the math right now off the top of my head, but he had me at an older age.
Mm.
Um, it was late 30s as well. My parents were 19 years apart.
Oh no. Okay.
So yeah, so my mom currently is will be turning 64
Oh, okay.
this year. So 19 years from 64, like
Yeah.
so yeah, and he's no longer here with us, but
Mm.
but he would be turning, what is that, 83,
You
I
have me do
believe.
math, brother. It'd be 82, right? Because you said she's turning 64,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's 18. You said?
19 years.
Oh, 19. Yeah, yeah, you're right then.
So he would be 83. So that's the difference.
Mm.
Um, but both of them grew up where it was all action. So that's all we got was the work hard. That's all I see my mom do. That's all I see my dad do was work hard to support their 5 kids. Um, and that's what I took from it.
Yeah.
But I've also left some things behind because
Mm.
I can't raise my kids the way you guys raised them.
Yeah.
It was a different. It was different back then.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can't do the same things. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's real, bro. That's all I was gonna actually ask you. Like, at least like from then to now, like, what would you say, or what have you noticed? Especially you're working with families and things like that. But have you noticed any like generational differences in how fathers communicate with their children, like now?
I think fathers don't communicate with their children still as much,
Okay.
and if they do, they're from what I'm seeing, they're screaming. They're not
Mm.
controlled when they're speaking, right? So I
Mm.
see that a lot with the families that I work with.
Yeah.
Um, they're not consistent
Mm.
in their speech. So and that's for me. That's who I am. I'm consistent in what I do.
Mm.
I'm consistent. Like if I say something, that's what it is. You're not changing that, and that's what I see from the difference between fathers then and fathers now. Now fathers didn't speak much then, but they were consistent in what they did, and when they did speak, that was it,
Yeah,
right?
you
So I
got to
think
listen.
that's missing. Go ahead.
I said no. When they spoke, you for sure had to listen.
Oh no, 100%, right? So, and I think that's what's missing today. A lot of dads are not present, which is
Mm.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Even if they were present, it, it'll change the child's life tremendously, right?
Yeah.
Just show up. Like the best dad is a present dad, right? The best dad is a present dad, no matter what, right? Nobody's perfect, but if you're present, your kids will think you're perfect. So,
Mm.
and that's all that matters. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
So I like that, bro. I like that a lot. That's funny because that's as people know that been rocking me. That's one of my sign offs that I be saying as well. So that's dope that you tie that in there. I want to ask you too because you are obviously older now. What do you think it would have been like? Let's say with your wife. When I don't want to get you in trouble, right? So with your same wife and things like that. But how you think your parenting style would be, or how you think you would be if you had your boys at the age of, I don't know, let's say 24, 23?
You know what? I would be reckless.
Mm,
I would be reckless. Um, not reckless where I'll put them in danger.
yeah.
I wasn't consistent in anything.
Mm,
Like I've always worked. That was fine, but just lifestyle. I wasn't consistent. They wouldn't have got the mature man that you see today. They wouldn't have got that. They would have. You know, the crazy thing. I started partying at 23. I started partying at
oh
23.
dang, that's crazy. Yeah.
Right. So I was late coming to it. So
Yeah.
that's what they would have gotten. I was still working
Yeah.
and showing up to work. Little intoxicated, but you know, but that's what I'm saying. Like that. That's what they would have gotten. They wouldn't have gotten. Um, I was always busy. I was always
Yeah.
busy. I've always had two or three jobs, or I was always busy. I've always dabbled into. They wouldn't have seen me with one woman. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have seen me with that, and that's big too. And this is why I'm so thankful and blessed today, because God has blessed me with a beautiful wife, and I don't have no desires outside of her. So
Mm, I love
um, and my children can see a loving marriage, right?
it. Mm,
So and they wouldn't have seen that back then. They
true.
wouldn't have seen that back then. So they would have saw an inconsistent father,
Mm,
like just all over the place, no direction,
yeah.
not in school, not in school. Knew what I wanted to do. Always knew what I wanted to do. Just never pursued it.
Mm,
Never pursued it. So until later in life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, bro. Now, what would you say? Because, like you say, you deal with families and you've seen different things. Like, how would you say you feel? Your parenting style, I guess, is different from the younger dad you see. Now, is it more so like is it similar to what you were just saying as far as like at that stage in your life? Do you see like lot of the younger dads? Do you see like, oh man, they're the lifestyle I was living, they're in that lifestyle now, or have you came across where like, no, a lot of the younger dads I've seen, they're taking care of business, or what has that experience been like for you?
For me, it's been the inconsistent that I
Mm,
see a lot more. Um, it's frustrating because if I go back to me, I would have still been present.
mm,
I still would have been there. Like I would have woke up, saw my children, been in the home,
yeah.
right? Present, but not really present, right? I would have been inside, but I wouldn't have been so full. I wouldn't have had this the dynamic that I have now with my children. But what I see with the younger kids today is just they're too much. They're too focused on the culture, and I'm just gonna say it. They're too focused on the culture. It's these.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
is that it's the phone.
Yeah.
It's the day. It's the social media. They're caught up in it, and this is. I love being. I love being born in '87 because I had the best of both worlds. Being able to go outside, then later on, social media came into my life. But I don't rely on social media to. It doesn't distract me, right? It's a distraction, right? A lot of males, also from what I see, they are they're angry. They're angry, and that's because they didn't get to work.
Mm.
They never went to deal with their emotions.
Mm.
And that's part of it. They don't know how to check their emotions, right? You have to check your emotions as a man. I'm not saying hide your emotions. Check them. You don't have to scream. You don't have to curse. You don't have to yell. There's a way to get your point across, right? I went to therapy to do all to do a lot of work, to do a lot of work to be where I'm at today. But
Mm.
that's what I see um, for the younger generations. They're definitely um, angry and they haven't checked their emotions. They need therapy, and that's a big thing that they need because there's a lot of trauma. Kids have to deal. These kids these days they got to deal with a lot more than what I had to deal with, right? Like I'm a tough guy, and I've seen a lot my younger years, and I think I've handled it well. But they've seen a lot more because they got the phone,
Mm.
and it's you can see it right here. Whatever you want to see, you can see men beating up on women. Whatever you want to see,
Yeah.
it's on the phone, right? And you can just swipe, and there you go. And that triggers. I don't care nobody. It triggers your mind. Like the more that's why we don't allow our kids to watch TV. Like
Mm.
when we say no screen time, there's no screen time. Now
Mm.
I'm not saying they don't ever get screen time, but it's very rare. I rather play.
Mm.
We work on math. We work on spelling. Like we go. Let's play with the toy. Let's build something. Whatever it is. Let's use your imagination. Right. So, um, yeah. Yeah.
No, I like that, bro. And is a few things that come on. One is I agree with you. As I feel like women are a little bit better with this, but um, being emotionally intelligent is something that's we struggle with as men, right? Really understand how to use our emotions, and then also a lot of times, from my experience, a lot of times the men I have came across that are angry is because they feel like that's how that makes them a man, right? Like that makes me tough, right? So, what you're saying definitely hits, and then with the screen time and things like that, that's so true as far as um, making sure you're paying attention to what they watch. Because I try to do the same. I ain't gonna lie, because I do got 4 kids, y'all. There is times where I'm like, you know what, go on it for 2 hours or something like that, right? But then I'll make sure I cut off. Hey, we're gonna watch a movie together, or hey, and my kids know if there's something um, uh, like they're not sure about, they'll come and ask me, Dad, can I watch this? And then they got their my oldest, she be doing her own thing. So I have my son who's what 10, he knows. So he'll be telling me, or he'll tell them, hey, you can't watch that. Hey, that doesn't look like it's something. So I've already showed him, hey, this is what you have to make sure you're looking out for your little brother, your little sister, right?
Yeah.
But I have talked about, I want to get to that point where it's like, hey, you know what? No screen time whatsoever. It gets to be difficult for me at times where it's just like, man, okay, I'm trying to get this stuff over here for the nonprofit. I'm trying to get this stuff for the podcast. I got work. But at the end of the day, I love what you're doing because you're like, even with everything you got going on, you're making sure, hey, I'm gonna set that time aside. So you even help me, think about that, bro, where it's like, man, I can do better in that aspect, man. So,
We all can.
yeah, man.
We all
Huh?
can. I said we all can.
Yeah.
Definitely. We all can do.
Yeah. No, man. And
I'm
so,
not perfect.
oh no, definitely. I tell my kids all the time that I'm definitely not perfect, and I always tell them too is no matter what, you have a choice, right? You have a choice, and you could choose. You could choose, like you could decide. They be like, well, no, I can't decide because you told me I have to do this. Yes, but you can choose not to do that, right? And if you don't do it, then what happens after that, right?
Consequences.
Consequences, right? So that's why I always try to make them, because our decisions that we make in everything in life, I feel like that's a choice. Man, I hate this job. You hate that job, but you're still choosing to be there, right? You're not choosing to look for something else. You're not choosing to go back to school. You're not, well, I have this, I have that going on. Okay, so you're choosing to have that stop you, right? So I'm big on we all have choices. We might not like the choices, but we have choices,
True.
right? And so it's like which one pick the one that I guess doesn't hurt as much to you or whatever the case
Right.
is, right?
Right.
Or you can just do what you've been doing and be comfortable, right? And if you're comfortable, you're not going to see any growth because growth doesn't come from comfortability, right? If I want to get big, which the way my body type is, y'all, I'm never gonna get buff, but but I have got stronger. Why have I got stronger? Because I'm putting the work in, right? That can't happen if I don't put the work in. If I'm not, you know, lifting at home or lifting at the gym or whatever the case is, no matter what it is, it's going to take work. So even if you get spoon fed something, at some point you're going to have to put in the work. I feel so.
True.
But
Very
with
true.
that being said, bro, I want to ask you this one last question: is as someone that maybe hearing this that's not a dad, or maybe and they're older, or you know, they're already an older father. Like let's say they're around our age or a little bit older, and they're about to have a child. What type of advice would you give to them as they're going to? It's a new chapter, right? Because no matter what we say, we can prepare. Like you say, you're 35, so you're like, man, I can. Or no, you said 35 or 37?
I'm 37 now, currently. Yep.
37 now. Okay, so you like you felt like you was ready, right? You probably felt like, man, I'm ready to have, or maybe you didn't, but but like when we're older, I hear that all the time, like, oh yeah, I can prep for it, but no matter how much money in the world you have, I feel like you can never be ready for a child, right? But what advice I guess would you give to someone that's older or someone that um uh yeah, someone that doesn't have kids but they're older?
I think it. I think what I'm about to say could translate to younger
Okay.
people as well that don't
Okay.
have kids are and they're about to go through that process. For men, um, be present and be patient.
Mm.
Be present and be patient. I think those two are the biggest things that we can do as men. Right? We have to be present. We have to show up. Now, what does that look like, though? Right? You just can't be in the room playing this, boom, while your kids doing whatever. No, engage,
Yeah.
right? That's part of being present. Talk to them. That's part of being present. I don't care how old they are. If they want to babble at 8 months old and let them and you just have a conversation. Be present, right? Be patient because they're going to test your nerves. They will. They're children,
Yeah.
right? And you just want to react. Be patient. So those two things, present and patience, those two things are my advice for any man that is about to have a child.
I love it, bro. No, that's good, man. No, that's and I love what you said too. Just making sure you're present, make sure you're communicating with them. Hopefully this helps someone out as well. To all my fathers out there, because if you guys have a little bit older kids, right, they're probably getting to that point when they get out of school. You're gonna go through this soon, I'm sure too. But you
Yeah.
ask them how their day is, cause we did it. At least I did it. How was your day at school? Fine, good,
Yep.
right? And that was it, right? And so for me, I've learned to ask more deeper questions, right? So I did it today. Well, I've been doing it, but I did it today, and my kids was just normally they'll give me a little bit something, but today for whatever reason they was just really just giving me everything. I'm just listening like okay, but I asked them. I said, "What made you happy today at school?" Right? And so they're giving me different things. What made you mad today at school? I asked my son. Oh, well, I knew my son. "Oh, nothing made me mad. Oh, okay. Well, what was annoying to you? Then all of a sudden he was able to give me something, right? And so just asking those type of questions will get them talking. Will also make them feel like you're interested in what they have to say. So I agree with you, bro, with everything you said for sure.
Man, yeah, no, that's big. No, um, you have older ones, so like you said, I know what that's like. You know, when we were teenagers, we didn't say much
Yeah,
because we couldn't. Well, in my household, I couldn't say much, so kids are supposed to be seen and not heard. That's the type of household
right.
I grew up in. So
Yeah,
it's very important to change the narrative.
yeah,
Kids can be heard. They have a voice. Make sure they're using it, but respectfully,
yeah,
respectfully, respectfully. Because I've
yeah,
seen people like, oh, they can talk any type of. I can't. I'm not there yet.
yeah. I
I'm
don't think
not
I'll ever
there.
be there personally, but yeah, I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah,
Like, there's obviously communicate, but let's be respectful to one another. So,
yeah,
um,
definitely.
but with that being said, man, I want to make sure I give you your flowers as well, man. Just again, shout out to you and the missus as well, just doing an amazing job, man. And shout out to you, bro. Or you do be tired at times and probably just going through it. And shoot, it's always different things going on, right? It's something. It could be something at home, something at work. But at least for me, I do my best to when I come home, just forget all about it, right? And I'll make sure that no matter what's going on, my kids, and it's very rare that they ever see me um, take out whatever I'm going through on them. So and I could tell you're the same way, and so shout out to you, bro, and shout out to the missus. But yeah, man, just keep doing what you're doing, bro. You know what I mean? You're really setting the foundation. You're really changing some things. You're taking the baton from your parents, and you're running with it, man. So I just wanted to say shout out to you, bro, for sure, and I appreciate you, bro, for hopping on, man.
No, no problem, man. Thank you for inviting me again. Continue to do what you're doing. You're inspirational to a lot of people out there. To a lot of dads, a lot of upcoming dads. They need something like this, right? They need a podcast where they could just sit and listen to other men just talk because they may not have somebody to listen to. So this is a perfect vehicle for them right here. So shout out to you. Continue to do what you're doing, man. Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it, bro. And I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And y'all, like always, you don't have to be perfect, but you always have to be present. See you guys on the next one.